Hi, and welcome back to my channel. How you doing? In honor of Mother Wendy, let's get right on into this Love and Marriage Huntsville season 6 episode. Ooh, I'm so scared to say the name of them. Season 6 episode with 26. Whitlows stay or Whitlows go. Let's get right on into it. So Stormy and Stormy brings Tiffany Lou and Kiki together. Tiffany Lou arrives. She has the baby with her. Kiki lets her know that, I've been hearing some things in the streets that you've been saying about me. However, I just want to let you know that they are not true. But, prior to that, in confession, before she knew that she was going to bring the baby, Kiki was talking hell of smack. She was like, okay, I have to have some words with her. I am ready. I think Kiki was ready to make that move. She probably wanted to put hands on Tiffany because Tiffany is the type of person to me that will go out and say things that, really get up under your skin. And then she likes to backpedal and pop right off of what she really said. And, you know, that's a quality of a snooty person that looks down on people, and I'm not with that. But I don't think you have to be down, but you don't have to look down, in other words. So in other words, to me, she looked at, again, in my opinion, I looked at Tiffany as also a colorist because it was the dark skinned woman. She didn't feel like that dark skinned woman had achieved the things that she had achieved, not knowing or not even researching to find out that Kiki was a very, very young professor. Having an addiction can derail anybody's plans. And if, of course, her addiction came through the opioid type of, coming down the pipeline, all these things that were happening to millions of women who were taking painkillers. And many of them are no longer with us. So, I mean, we're lucky to still have Kiki and gracing us on her TV screen. But anyway, move right along. Tiffany agrees that she might have misjudged her because the only thing that she knew about her is that every time she was around, Kiki was in disagreement, Kiki had a problem with someone, and normally that problem that she had with people was her issues with Letitia. And I don't think that Tiffany really understood that that's where most of her problems started and stopped, right? If you look back on things, whenever Kiki is around, Tisha is in the mix. So she didn't get to know the individual. And then, finally she admits that she might have, took things too far in the streets. Well, when she's on the Carlos King interview, I mean, I don't really see the purpose of being around irrelevant people. I mean, what did you do? I mean, how did you get in the group? And I'm like, girl, you saying things that could really, cause a person to want your ass, basically. So anyway, Kiki said, "Well, I thought you were judging me on my past addictions," and she said, "Well, I don't think I like really judge you on it. Mind you, baby in tow, her human shield, and my parents battle with addiction." Oh yeah, okay. Your parents battle with addiction, but that's not the only issue that she had, Kiki. Like I said, I think that because she was a dark skinned woman who she felt like was way, way under her socially and economically. And I'm gonna leave that right there on the table. So now we finally get to the meeting with Chris and Martell. Oh, Chris. Martell is wearing the sunglasses, and he's like, yeah, I will, I did get the eye surgery. And then Chris jokes with him and says, well, man, I thought you having a little cat fight. And now a lot of people have noticed that there was a purse on that counter. I didn't see the purse while I was watching it. However, I did see it on Twitter. So we can maybe believe that he thought maybe that had little cat fight had came through um, mashed potatoes, coleslaw, mac and cheese, trout mouth area. And so he tells her about Lexi. Now, Martell is an idiot because if he had thought for 1 second, he probably could have thought that Knox may feel the same way Lexi is feeling, because he was like, well, Lexi, didn't grow up in the household with the other kids, so that means she didn't get everything that the other kids got, and she thought that she should have been able to get the Benzes and all this type of stuff when those younger kids were getting those things. Now, I'm saying to myself, it might have been a situation where Lance didn't get those things either. It might have just been a situation where Chris Jr. and Michaela got those things because they were younger, and then Chris and Nell were, by the time they came in the picture, already upwardly mobile. It might have been a thing where Chris was not as financially stable when she was growing up to get these things. And I think that Lexi should actually be proud of herself because she worked hard for her car. And I think that, and it might have been a situation where I felt that I earned my car because I paid for it myself, that I felt better not having to rely on my parents to buy my car. It was just a good feeling. And my car wasn't a Hoover. I had a 1989 Toyota Camry in the early 90s. So my car wasn't even that old. And Toyotas, baby, they last a lifetime. I probably had that car about 7 years. And wasn't thinking about getting another. Anyway, and I didn't call it a hoopty either until my sunroof started leaking. And that was the only reason why I got rid of it, because it was still running. And so he tells Martell about that disagreement. And like I said, if Martell had a thought just 1 minute, he might have thought that Maverick Knox would have came through that situation as well, because it's going to be very clear that, and I see a lot of children, that I had through DHS that had, siblings who, if they had a different father, a different mother, they had more things. If the father wasn't in the home, he provided only for his child. And, and they did that little McDonald's skit too. Now, as far as food goes, if that was my situation, it wouldn't be a doubt in my mind that I would actually provide food, but clothing and things like that, and your sibling may have nicer things than you. Hey, that is what it is. It's not fair to assume that the sibling with the, more financially stable parents should take care of all the siblings that are not his or hers, vice versa. So that might have been a situation where Lexi was in, and to think that, you got 4 kids who mother is a millionaire. What is Knox gonna do? He might have both parents together. He might have Troutmouth and, motel hotel together, but he's not gonna have the things. And children do look at things. That is what it is. I mean, you can raise them to be as humble as you want them to be, especially right now with toys and stuff. It might be a Christmas where Melanie is buying little Tank Gucci and gold, and and then little Knox, he might have a Tonka toy. That's just how it's gonna be. And Bob the Builder, without a builder's license, he's not gonna be able to right now, especially that we can see, he's not gonna be able to provide those things to his child. But anyway, here's the disagreement. So we getting right on into it. Chris is calm. Chris says, well, speaking of conflict, I heard that you and Nell had a little disagreement. Yeah. Well, and I don't like disrespectful women. I can't deal with that. And Chris says, was she disrespectful or were you coming in hot? Well, I see it like this right here. I mean, you know, y'all siding with male, and I think it's disrespectful when a woman is constantly bringing up my cheating, and y'all never bring up her cheating. And then he's like, well, I don't pick sides. Yeah. You pick sides when you went over there to that name changer ceremony. And then Chris calmly says, Mel cheated. She cheated. I always bringing up hotels cheating, but you never bring up Melanie Ho's cheating. And then Chris says, Melody Rogers. And then Chris says, from now on, if you have a problem with me, a problem with my wife, take that up with me. And as far as taking sides goes, it's Motel Hotel, it's Melody Cherie Rogers, it's Motel Hotel on the left, Melody Cherie Rogers on the right, and Chris and Neil Fletcher in the middle. Come on, Chris. And I didn't want Chris to get huffy and puffy. Chris is a laid back, silent, deadly killer. Not literally, but figuratively. And my sister is just like that. I like those kind of, where they don't have to do a whole lot of chatter. That scene ends, and we get to Chris meeting with Chris Jr. And Chris Jr. Now, this is a touching scene. However, it tickles me how Chris Jr. want his dogs back. Chris Sr. says, well, you know why you haven't got your dogs back. Your mama is she's trying to teach you something. And she's trying to show you what a good mom is. Yeah, well, I just really don't want to deal with, people right now. I'm trying to keep to myself. And Chris says, I don't want you to be in a situation, Christine says, I don't want you to be in a situation like that. I want you to come to me when you need something. I'm going to always be there for you, but I'm trying to teach you responsibility. And then Christian says, well, I know, Dad, and I'm falling by the wayside. I'm not like my other siblings. I don't have a lot. And it's just that I feel like I'm disappointing you guys. Well, they may be a little disappointed, Christian. You did go to jail. However, it's room for change for anybody. And that's my advice to you as a former mental health worker. Anybody can make a change if you put forth the effort and put in the work. You do not have to stay in the same stagnant position unless that's what you want to do. If you see your other siblings being successful and being upwardly mobile like your parents, then you can do it as well. And as a matter of fact, you have a head start because your parents are rich. And I was like really, really touched in this moment. Like I said, this is a very touching scene. Um, Chris Jr. says he feels like an outsider, and then he admits that he's depressed and he has thought about self-deletion. And when he said that, Chris began to cry. And he said, I don't ever want you to think about that. I am here for you. And then Chris Jr. said, well, I may need counseling. And it takes a grown man to say that he needs help. Now, in the African American male world, a man shows weakness when he cries, when he's good to his women, and when he admits that he needs help. This is what causes self-deletion. Black men are doing it more per capita as of late than Caucasian males. And it was a time in the black community where we could allegedly use the stereotype, oh, that's white folks stuff. No, no, no. You cannot live your life without expression. Crying is healthy. It is not the symptom, it's a cure. Treating a woman that you love with respect does not make you a simp. Being smart and successful does not make you a simp. But what do you hear on the internet? These men who have been taken up for Keke Palmer and her situation, those are simps. But the men who are saying that, a lot of her issues came about when she did the little dance with Usher, and then she disrespected that man. But these men who are calling the men who simps that's taken up for her never come over to that side and say, well, he was wrong. All those men that I saw saying, agreeing with Darius Jackson, have not come to the defense of Keke Palmer. I don't respect men like that. And just like Martell was saying, I don't know if I said anything about this or not. He kept saying that he's not going to allow a woman to disrespect him. Well, so you allow men to disrespect you? You shouldn't want to be disrespected by anybody. But you're not going to talk to me crazy as a woman, and we're both adults. We just don't fly like that. And I don't believe in that submissive stuff because I don't do the Bible anyway. Just 100%. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't live my life by a book. I don't need a book to tell me what's right from wrong. I live my life in peace. Letitia, she meets with Kimmy for you understand. When that doggone video cut off, it threw me off. Irritated. Anyway, they meet for you understand. This is foolishness, right? You talking about I really want to fast forward through this shit. Anyway, she said she's been sick, and ever since came back from Las Vegas, she just can't stop eating. So she thinks she might be pregnant. And Kim was like, "Oh, Letitia, you know that you had that Marcel had a vasectomy, right? This is gonna be a whole nother conversation." And she said, "Well, maybe it didn't take." And Kim was like, "Well, that's not how Marceau is going to see things." And we're at the Jonestein place because Kimmy is about to give herself, if she don't slow down, worrying about what Marshmallow is going to be like or how she's going to have to deal with him in bed, I'm afraid for her. She just came off of getting chemo, and she's too concerned about making sure that she's able to lay up with this old nasty yellow Negro. I'm saying like I feel. Anyway, I said what I said. She said she's tired of Letitia. Well, the test comes back negative, and we kind of knew this is just stupid to take a test at the Jonestein place, but she did ask the lady whether she was pregnant, and then the lady who was explaining Jonestein to her, she told her that it wouldn't be wise to do a steam if she was indeed pregnant. Did anybody in the audience think that this woman could possibly be pregnant? I sure did. Anyway, they started talking about the situation that happened at last event or the last meeting with Mel, and she was just like, "Well, I just don't want to talk about Keke no more." And then Kim was like, "What did you think we were gonna talk about Kimmy said, Kiki threw a whole drink in your face. She was baptized in the holy waters of St. John, baby. Anyway, she was like, well, I just don't want to talk about Kiki. She is the furthest thing from my mind. But you're talking about Kiki, right? And Letitia says that, she's overwhelmed and she's got a lot of things on her mind. And then Kimmy says, well, and Kimmy's mind, the only thing she has on her mind is getting her cuckoo right so she can lay up with Marshmallow. Anyway, Letitia says, well, maybe I can't do it all. Maybe I should go back to being a stay-at-home mom. I'm just going through a lot. We're staying in an apartment. Our house is getting built. Then we have Scott Manor getting built as well. And me living in an apartment in these close quarters is just different for me. And I'm like, okay, so I've never heard of anybody getting the dream home built while living in an apartment while getting the previous home renovated. They might just need to give up on that dream of Scott Manor. But anyway, she says that she's been going through so much. Marceau suggested that they go to counseling. Marceau suggested counseling, says Kimmy. Well, that meant something if Marceau suggested counseling. And it's one thing that she forgot to mention. The lawsuits. Allegedly. Well, here we go. Big Lou and Tiffany talk about her place on the show. And he comes in, hey, babe, you gonna help me fold these clothes? Now remember, I have said Tiffany's house always looking like something needs to be done there, and I believe that as a coach at a university, baseball at that, because contrary to popular belief, in most black colleges, baseball coaches make more money than football coaches. Yeah, I found that out. Cause my one of my friends' husband coaches baseball, and they make more money. But anyway, so I'm pretty sure that they can afford to have maybe a nanny or maid come in. But anyway, she was talking about her being overwhelmed. Well, really, it seems like almost that her and Letitia have the same problem. Well, honey, I have my baby. He's on my nipple. I have to do the laundry. I'm trying to be a mom. I'm trying to be in business. And then a show. And then that's where you see the breaking of the fourth wall. If you ask me on reality shows, they can break the fourth wall all the time because we know that the cameras are there. So why are they supposed to act like, that they're not filming a show? I mean, really. And so he was like, well, babe, I kind of, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I kind of told you when you decided to have the baby that we were going to go through these things and maybe you weren't ready. But I thought I was. But I didn't have to, do so much when my other son was a baby. I didn't have all these issues. He's constantly hungry and all these things are getting done. But maybe just maybe you weren't working two or three jobs. Maybe your other husband that you left to have more money for, maybe he wasn't on the road like Big Lou, who makes good money. And then he said, maybe we should revisit the idea of being on the show. And she says, maybe we should I might be going through postpartum depression. Now, let me just say this. I always thought Tiffany was having some form of postpartum depression. However, she had that baby when she had that interview with uh, Carlos. And I'll actually, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. A lot of those tears to me was because she didn't really want to leave the show. She loves to be the messy pot. Carlos liked her for being the messy pot, and she liked to stir up the mess. But to me, when, in my opinion, when Lou told her that maybe we need to make some decisions in regards to the show, I think he meant me or the show. I think he was giving it an ultimatum. But that, my friend, is the end of episode 26. I did feel bad for her in some capacity as a woman who is older and just had 2 children myself. My youngest is 5. So I do feel some empathy there. But to the Whitlows and this episode, as I close this is Country's Conversation with Diva D, this is going to apply to Tiffany Lou. Juices! Come on in, get the likes up, subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. And Motel was like, well, I'm sorry that I didn't mention this before. This is a very intricate part of that conversation that Chris had with Motel. But hey, it's coming at the end, and I'm going to close again with the Country Conversation with DVD. But just to add this to the end of the video, to make sure I mention that very important piece, Motel Hotel said. And he had some nerve. Well, I guess this is the end. I guess it's all over. The name changes. I guess it's final. I mean, it wasn't like she did anything with the Rogers name. I mean, everything that she accomplished was with the hotel motel name. Hope, hope. But anyway, that is the end of the video. I don't know how I missed that very important piece. But I think I made like little notes, and then I was like, I knew for sure that part I would remember, but I didn't. So I realize now to catch those important, intricate details, I'm going to have to add, hey, I'm only 3 months in the game. Give me some credit. Anyway, it's Country Conversation with Diva D. And that I'm going to close again. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel.